got a story for you today, and this story is about internal coherence, about luxury sales, and why somebody would call all the way from halfway across the world in order to buy from you instead of locally. I had an experience the other day when I literally was just stepping out to get some cake. Okay. And you know how sometimes you're like, you have an impulse to do something, and part of your mind is going, why? Why am I going out of the way to do this? Anyways, I did. And it was one of those days, and I ended up in a conversation that just blew my mind because it was just such a beautiful case study in how the things that I discuss work. And it's a story about a woman who once sold $1 million in luxury sales in a year without pushing, without performing, and without hustling. So it's for those of you who have something you're building that you know you're capable of more, and you don't want to use those old models where there is performance, where there is only, say, acting as if versus being. Um, Now, acting as if, when done right, is being, but most often people end up performing, hustling, pushing, forcing themselves, and they get completely out of alignment. So as I was here about to get cake, I was passing through the produce section, and I asked a question to somebody who worked there about what I was looking for, and she happened to be standing, very close to me, and so she, I guess, heard the conversation and just started chatting with me and kind of commenting about a few things in the store that she really liked. And I was curious and I was relaxed. I didn't have anywhere I had to rush off to, so I was happy to engage in the conversation. And very soon she began telling me about herself, and it was rather intriguing because her story uh, was definitely the kind that gets attention. She told me very quickly where she used to work, and it's one of the top luxury retail spaces in my city. And she told me that she did indeed sell $1 million worth of merchandise in 1 year, which was, I think, the top in the country at the time. And she did this without pushing, and she did this in her own way. And this is what I am talking about when I refer to coherence, when I talk about, got to regulate or be regulated in our nervous system, when I talk about how hustle isn't necessary. And I want to differentiate here. Hustle, I refer to that pushing, that more aggressive style of trying to put ideas in people's heads, manipulate the experience. And even if that's a good manipulation, as in, bringing them something you think they need or would benefit from. And the reason is that there's so much energy that gets spent in that experience, and it does not do what this woman was doing. This woman, the way she not only told the story and the examples she gave, it was clear. She would not push. She would welcome people, whoever came into the space. There was non-judgment, and there was openness on her part. She did not judge people by the way they dressed, the way they looked, whether they appeared as somebody who's going to spend, $2,000 that day or walk away with nothing. She treated everyone equally in that regard, versus those in the team, which did the opposite, where they would judge, they would assume, they would look at people and make an assessment and then speak accordingly, sell accordingly. So she didn't push, she didn't hustle, she treated people non-judgmentally, and she was astute, she was perceptive, and she used her talents, her ability to engage people. Even the way she engaged with me, a complete stranger in the grocery store, it was clear that she knew how to do that, or had developed that throughout her life, where she was genuinely curious about people, engaged with people, supported them, and also left room. It wasn't anything like I could have left at any moment if I'd wanted to, right? So there was this welcoming space. And she focused on building relationships, and that's how that $1 million in sales came about. And this is for someone who, by the way, had no intention of working in that particular industry, wasn't even trying to get a job at the time, and was literally offered it. So can you imagine? Imagine walking into a space and being offered a dream opportunity, whether that be a job, whether that be an amazing contract, a project, a venture, just because somebody reads you and says, yeah, I resonate. There's something about you that I see, that I can feel, because you are just being yourself. And that's what she was doing. She even gave me an example that there was a client who called her during that time, all the way from halfway across the world, Spain to be specific, when she was in Canada, and bought from her. And when she asked, well, why are you calling me versus just buying it locally, or at least nationally? And the response of the customers was, silly, I want to give you the commission. Imagine that, somebody calling because they want to give you the commission, right? So this is resonance. This is internal coherence. It is felt and it is trusted. And that's exactly what she did. And when you know how to do that, when you begin going deeper within yourself to create instead of looking out and trying to determine what others need and trying to serve that or manipulate the experience, then we can talk about placement, where you are, where your product or service is. It's natural intelligence in action. It is multidimensional awareness where you allow your intuition to speak to you, your instinct to guide you. It is being open and is being non-judgmental. $1 million in sales from a woman who simply enjoyed what she was doing and showed up as herself.